He's involved in a number of businesses.
He's a great role model.
Telling it like it is, giving you both sides of the story. This is Cats at Night.
Great American, a great New Yorker.
Now, here's John Katsimatidis.
On the line for us right now is Rabbi Potasnik. Rabbi, you've got some interesting news that comes out of Brooklyn. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, first of all, we're the number one show on Sundays. We allow John to have the number one rating the rest of the week. Secondly, I'm organizing the King for President campaign 2024. By the way, that's King for President of the Knights of Columbus. I don't want you to assume anything more than that. Yeah. So, anyway,
thank you, Rabbi.
On a serious note. Yeah, on a much more serious note.
Yeah.
Temple, the Great Neck Synagogue, rather. Great Neck Synagogue has Rabbi Dale Polikoff, who's a great admirer of Peter King, and has a rabbinic intern. Rabbinic intern comes from Crown Heights to spend Shabbat at the synagogue. Prior to Shabbat, he gets attacked in Crown Heights, victim of another hate crime. And we've seen this repeatedly. And I have to say, wow. I'm tired of the excusiology. I am really tired, as I'm sure you are, of hearing COVID as a factor. You and I, we all grew up during some challenging times, times of illness, times of tragedy. We didn't go out and attack people because we deemed them to be different. So I think we have to stop looking at everyone else for excuses and start looking within. And one of the things we have to do.
What happened? They beat up the.
Yeah, they beat up the rabbi. Yeah,
the rabbi or the intern?
Yeah, the intern.
Right.
The intern.
Okay.
Who's a rabbinic intern.
Right.
And it's just, I just don't want to hear it's the music, it's social media. Yeah, they contribute.
Hate crime attacks are up all over New York.
And not just in the Jewish community, the Asian community too.
Social media, right? And we had hate attacks against Jews and others before, we had all these social media platforms. So there's something else going on here.
Robert, I'm not being at all sarcastic, but again, if you listen to the president, the attorney general, somehow this is all because of white supremacy.
Right, and that MAGA is the most extreme political organization we have in our history.
Well, it would, if you look at the perpetrators, many of them are young people who are not connected with any political movement. They're not connected with any particular philosophy. So what's the excuse there? I think we have to look within what's happening within the family unit. We grew up in families where my father used to say, I'm not going to leave you a lot of valuables, but I'm going to leave you some values. What is being taught at the home? Because very often what kids see is what they do.
Rabbi, we also have Senator D'Amato on the phone with us. Put Senator D'Amato on and let him listen to this with Rabbi Potasnik telling about the
attack on the
rabbinical
intern.
Student, yeah.
Senator, welcome.
Yes.
Welcome, Rabbi. We got Rabbi Potasnik telling us about the attack on the Jewish intern in Queens or Nassau County?
Crown Heights.
Crown Heights.
He never made it to Great Neck. He was attacked in Crown Heights. He was on the way to Great Neck to serve the congregation there. And look, besides stop finding excuses, is we have to have consequences. Judge Weinberg would never accept someone saying in front of him, I attacked the Jew or the person who I saw as being different because of COVID. That's unacceptable. There have to be some serious consequences to crimes committed. We have a saying that when you're compassionate to the cruel, you're cruel to the compassionate. And we need to have much more severe punishment for the perpetrators and have compassion for the victims.
Rabbi, a good mutual friend of both of ours, the federal judge I clerked for, Judge Henry Bramwell, used to say to me as follows, it's nice to be nice, but who pays the price? And that's the point. Civilization is now paying the price.
Well, Senator D'Amato, you were around during Crown Heights and other demonstrations. What are your thoughts on this? How do we stop these type of attacks?
Well, let me say this. There must be consequences, as the rabbi have said, for these attacks. And you can't have these ultra-liberal district attorneys like the guy in Manhattan and prosecutors who fail to prosecute. And then judges, when there's a conviction, gives out no time at all. Basically lets them walk free and continue to this onslaught on America. And that is what has taken place over the last several years to a degree I've never seen in New York. And if you wonder why the repeated attacks, when you see people who have done these 6, 8, 10, 12 times and just released with no bail, with no consequences, what do you think is taking place? You're sending a message. Go out, there's no punishment, you have nothing to fear.
Senator D'Amato,
and that's what this state in particular faces, and this nation and our leaders are afraid. They're afraid to take on. If you're a Democrat or left wing of the party, I'll have a primary. They won't support me. This is the kind of nonsense. They put petty partisan politics before serving the interest of the public.
And Senator D'Amato and Rabbi Potasnik, there was such an example. That guy that smeared the feces all over the woman in the Bronx, he was actually also arrested for attacking a Jewish man in Brooklyn, and he's been out free. So those are two vicious attacks, one on a Jewish person, another on a Hispanic woman, and he's walking around free.
The one who hates me today is going to hate you tomorrow. Hatred is not some neatly compartmentalized phenomenon. Let me say this, and I think all of us recognize, years ago growing up, remember when our parents looked at report cards? What was the first thing they looked at? Conduct. Before they looked at any subject, you better have conducted yourself in a very respectful fashion in a classroom. Otherwise, there was hell to pay for it. And I just think, as Senator D'Amato said, and you have said it as well, John and everyone else on the panel, today it's do as you want without fear of consequence. And we are paying the price. The victim pays the price for it.
Well, that's the problem that we face today, and I'd like to see more action than the rhetoric. Right now, the mayor's rhetoric is pretty good, but I want to see some follow-up.
Well, I think the mayor is the prisoner of New York State Assembly and the New York State Senate, and Alphonse, Senator D'Amato, one of our best U.S. senators.
Come on, John, hold on. I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree, but he should take them on.
I'm standing side by side with him, and you're standing side by side with him, and he should take them on, and I'm ready to take them on.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah.
He should take them on now.
Can you imagine, Senator, if Ed Koch were mayor and this were going on, he would go to the neighborhoods of the majority leader of the Senate, the Assembly, go to their neighborhoods and say, look at what the leaders are doing to these communities.
Rabbi, can I jump in there and just ask both of you, what do you think of the movement to take Ed Koch's name off the 59th Street Bridge or the Ed Koch Bridge?
It's a disgrace. He was a great. First of all, I don't understand why the New York Times thinks this is front page material. I mean, it must be a pretty sad news day when you have to have Ed Koch, these allegations, unproven allegations. Who cares? Who cares?
Look at the characterization and the character assassination that the Times just did the past several days on Ed Koch.
Right.
This business about whether or not he may have been gay. Give me a break. So what? I mean,
I heard that some of the gays are after Ed Koch because he wasn't gay enough.
Right, and that they say because of his possible sexuality, he mistreated the gay population during the AIDS crisis.
Meanwhile, he didn't fight hard enough for AIDS.
To take his name off the bridge, he saved New York when he came in the 70s.
And many of the people criticizing now commended him years ago. I mean, such hypocrisy.
Congress.
Let me just mention this about Senator D'Amato.
New York, and he put, believe it or not, partisan politics aside. I know. Because when I was elected, I came to his office. We worked together. It wasn't, oh, no, you're a Republican. Oh, no. And I tell you, politics was secondary when it came to doing what was right for the city. We needed more people like Ed Koch.
Listen, when I had my toughest race, Ed Koch did a phenomenal TV commercial for me. Puts aside party lines.
I think he endorsed Bush for president, didn't he? Second,
he did, actually,
Bush? Yeah.
Senator D'Amato, we got about a few minutes from the next break. Tell us what else are you mad as hell about? Where's that thing? You're mad as hell and you can't take it anymore.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
The leaking of the Roe v. Wade memorandum from the Supreme Court, that was done by some partisan jackass wanted to help the Democrats, and they hopped on it right away because otherwise people would look at the issues that are killing us, the prices at the border, which the media never really talks about, one TV station, and that's it. The crisis with inflation, and it's just going to get worse. The horrendous energy policies this country has entered into, the mishandling of foreign affairs by this administration. They scream and yell about this. Well, let me tell you something. If that memo were to be adopted, it wouldn't change the situation in New York, in New Jersey, in Connecticut, because the laws on abortion would stay the way they are. And states like Massachusetts and Connecticut, the laws wouldn't be changed. What the law says is that the local state, this is what the memo suggests, the states will make the determination. Okay?
There's nothing changing except for the states making the determination.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's right. And so what they're doing is trying to say, oh, they're gonna stop it. It won't be taken away. We're going to give more money in New York so that people can come here. We put $50 million more. Sure, just keep spending more money because of the illegal immigration and the hundreds of thousands of people who are coming in monthly now. The number of abandoned kids who are being sent.
We got a minute left. The control booth is going nuts. I can see them
jumping up
their
and
head.
down.
They're jumping up and down.
They're banging on the window here,
and
John.
banging on the windows. We got a minute left. What else would you guys want to say, Senator?
Well, I think I had a pretty good say at it, but I just will say this to you. That don't believe this nonsense that Roe v. Wade is going to change one iota anything as it relates to that issue in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania,
Nothing. It won't change.
Connecticut,
It won't change anything.
California.
It doesn't change anything.
Rabbi Potasnik, one last 10 seconds.
Let me just say this, while you have Senator D'Amato. He was a very close friend to Rabbi Friedman, who was out in North Woodmere. Rabbi Friedman, Morris Friedman. Morris Friedman's son became the ambassador to Israel. And I just think the senator was a great friend and is a great friend.
And Senator D'Amato just sent to Ambassador George Chunas to Timbuktu, and we won't see him for a while. Have a great evening, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we have Paul Luntzis is going to give us an analysis. What the heck is going on in the markets? Could
this be the end of Bitcoin?
Who knows? I mean, and also Dr. Mark Siegel on.
He's going to give us the latest on that investigation in the Bahamas. Those 3 people that died.
Those people died. I wonder why.
WABC Radio is proud to celebrate 100 years.